I'm Dr. Barry, licensed psychologist, and here I share legal and entertainment news from a psychological perspective. I got the intro better the second time. If y'all hear from the first video, I completely botched the intro on my first video today. Y'all, today's going to be a bit of a heavy topic, but I think it's important to talk about protecting child influencers or why families should be careful or what protection should be in place for child influencers. Shari Franke gave a statement. I want to say this was last week. This was during Sarah Boone coverage. Wow. So this was October 16th. um, she gave a statement to to a Utah legislative committee talking about child influencers. And it sounds like they might want to discuss, is there some legislation? Is there something that can be done in the state of Utah to help protect children? I do think something should be done at the federal level as well. And we will talk about the states that have laws protecting child influencers. So I'm going to play this straight through. If you're here on replay, welcome, welcome. If this section was cut out, please know that the full video is down in the description. Let's go.
The schedule. I will be extremely brief. I wanted this to be an issue on interim study because of the importance of the issue and its relative unknown, the fact that it's unknown by, I think, most people in the legislature and the public, the vulnerability of child actors in traditional media and also in new forms of social media influencers, and would like to invite a well-known person in our state to testify about it, Shari Franke. And so I'm going to turn the time over to her.
Right. Thank you for having me today. My name is Shari Franke. My mother, Ruby Franke, is a prominent family vlogger that was arrested last year for child abuse. I don't come today as the daughter of a felon, nor as a victim of an abnormally abusive mother. I come today as a victim of family vlogging. My goal is not to present any idea of a solution to this problem, but to shed light on the ethical and monetary issues that come from being a child influencer. When children become stars in their family's online content, they become child influencers. It is more than just filming your family life and putting it online. It is a full-time job with employees, business credit cards, managers, and marketing strategies. The difference between family vlogging and a normal business, however, is that all the children are employees. Children from before they are born to the day they turn 18 have become the stars of family businesses on YouTube, Instagram, and other social media platforms. Utah is specifically a hotspot for family content due to the LDS culture around family and the goal to share the church with the world. We also have large families, which makes family content more lucrative. Specifically, many parents film their regular family life as an online video blog called a vlog. But I want to be clear that there is never, ever a good reason for posting your children online for money or fame. There is no such thing as a moral or ethical family vlogger. At first, family vlogging is an alluring business that can bring high revenue. For my family, it became the primary source of income, as is often the case with most full-time family vloggers. Many child influencers are paid for their work, as I was, and this money has helped me in my adult life. However, this payment was usually a bribe. For example, we'd be rewarded $100 or a shopping trip if we filmed a particularly embarrassing moment or an exciting event in our lives. Or other times, simply going on vacation was expected to be payment enough because most kids don't get to go on regular and expensive trips. Never mind the fact that the child's labor is actually what paid for the vacation or trip. There is no law in place to guarantee that child influencers get any money from their work. If a family account does not become an LLC, parents are taxed heavily for paying their children. But parents also receive tax write-offs for the regular clothes that they wear, the gas money used to drive places, and even the houses they live in. Anything that is filmed can be written off. And even after registering their business as an LLC, there is no guarantee that children will get paid. Any payment that does happen is under the table with no paper trail. And how do we determine how much a child should make from appearing in family content? What price is worth giving up your childhood? But despite any monetary payment children may receive, don't let this excuse the 24/7 labor that these children are subjected to. As a child, I was fully aware that I was an employee. The business was successful when I was happy or when I shared my hardships with the world. Some of our most popular videos were when my eyebrow was accidentally waxed off and the whole world saw a crying teenager when I just wanted to mourn in private, or the time I was violently ill and got the leading role in the video that day. My friends became scarce because dates were filmed and none of my friends wanted to be on camera. The camera never stops, and there is no such thing as a break from filming. At the time, I tell you I had a choice in what was filmed, but I've come to learn that every child influencer, in a way, suffers from Stockholm Syndrome. Most child influencers would probably tell you they have full control over what is posted, but the reality is that their parents bribe and shame them into posting their most vulnerable moments. In fact, many child influencers may tell you that they enjoy their work because of the monetary perks they receive or the fun experiences that they can have. After all, what child would say no to a fun vacation or shopping spree if all they needed to do was film an embarrassing moment? But as children, we do not understand the consequences of filming our lives and posting it for the world to see. We cannot give consent to our parents to post our lives. In any other context, it is understood that children cannot give consent, but for some reason, people think family vlogging is different. I did not realize the impact that filming as a child would have on me now. My social media became flooded with rumors of having sexual relations with my own brother, to being called a baby birthing machine at the age of 13. All these things have stuck with me, and I will forever live between the ages of 13 to 17 in many of my viewers' minds. In addition, pedophiles stalk the internet, specifically seeking out child influencers. I promise you that the parents are aware of these predators and choose to post their children anyway. I understand that this is a big issue to tackle, and I am not asking you to ban family vlogging, though that is my end goal. I also understand that as Utahns, we don't appreciate big government overreach. But when it comes to protecting children, it should be a bipartisan issue. The only people harmed by child influencer laws are the parents exploiting their children. While this may not seem like an issue now, as child influencers in Utah continue to grow up, I foresee there will be legal crises, with these children realizing that vlogging has brought severe emotional distress, or these kids may realize they don't have an appropriate amount of money to show for their labor. After all, how does that child know how much they should have made versus what their parents may or may not have paid them? Let's deal with this now before we reach that point. But even despite a good paycheck, I want to be absolutely clear that there is no amount of money that can justify selling your soul as a child to the world. In no other industry would we justify unregulated child labor with a huge paycheck, and we should not do that here. If I could go back and do it all again, I'd rather have an empty bank account now and not have my childhood plastered all over the internet. No amount of money I received has made what I've experienced worth it. While I don't have all the answers nor many feasible solutions for this problem, I am proud to be one of the first child influencers in the state of Utah to speak against this issue. I don't want people to look at me and blame my unique circumstances with a mother in prison to the Franke criminal case. Family vlogging ruined my innocence long before Ruby committed a crime. I promise you that my experiences are not unique and are happening to child influencers all over Utah and the country. So let's tackle this issue before it becomes a bigger crisis than it already is. Thank you.
Y'all, her voice is so powerful, and I am, as I talk about, um, what she said, because there's a part of me that feels that Ryan's World, the type of content that's filmed, I think it does well for his channel, but it doesn't seem like something a 13 or 14, because I think Ryan from Ryan's World, I think he's like 13 years old. It doesn't seem like something a child his age would want to do. And when the parents are controlling the content and when the parents are the ones that are profiting financially, and that sometimes they quit their jobs, and now this child is sustaining the entire family. Now this happens with child actors as well, but there are laws around this. There are things that help protect children, and I will share some of the states that do have laws. Um, and and to me, so like the people that so Ryan's World he became famous for opening toys. So he would open all these toys and you would kind of see his reaction, and it was they were kind of cute videos. Thankfully, my kiddo never got into Ryan's World. He did get into Mr. Beast, and that became like a whole I we had to have a conversation that, everything you see may not be accurate, and like we had to get into a whole conversation after some things came to light with that one. But with child and family vlogs, I loved what she said about consent. So my 7-year-old, he would love to be on my channel, but he doesn't understand what it might mean if other kids at school, or if other people, or like if you all knew exactly what my child looked like. There m there are So, we live in a safe world, and we live in a world that have people that do odd things, because I've gotten weird DMs as an adult. So I can't imagine what the DMs look like for a child actor. Now, I have a friend whose daughter is studying to be a professional ballerina, and the mom manages her account, and they make sure that, and she's like 13, 14 years old, or and so she gets to pick, what she wants to say. Mom just gives final approval to make sure that everything is okay, but it isn't mom saying, "Okay, like, okay, we got this brand deal. You have to film this about how much you love this particular brand." Or, okay, we got this free trip to Hawaii. Now we have to record 10 hours. So instead of enjoying the vacation, we have to take time out of the vacation to film. And I've seen families and people filming exclusively to get content. So when I go on vacation, I do sometimes do it under my LLC, and I'll record some footage. But the one thing you'll never see, you won't see my family forced to be in any of the like we don't have to get the perfect shot. We don't have to wear the matching outfits, because I've seen some of like the Disney vloggers, or some of like the different where we have the matching outfits. We all have on the same thing. Well, what if they're 4 years old and that's not what they wanna wear today? So that's when the family sometimes uses bribery to say like, "Hey, I'll give you a piece of candy if you just put on the outfit." And now like, but to me, it's different when I'm using this on the internet to make money. Does that make sense? So, like, when we went to Disney, I had in my mind, okay, it would be great if my kiddo wore a Star Wars shirt when we go to, Hollywood Studios, because Hollywood Studios has the Star Wars section. He loves Star Wars. It would be great if he wore his BB-8 shirt that day. But if my kiddo got up that morning and he was like, "Nope, I wanna wear my Pokemon shirt." Okay, my kiddo's gonna have a Pokemon shirt. Like, because I packed clothes that he liked. Now, and it's just, I think consent and boundaries are so important. And when this is a child's job, it can kind of blur the line of, are they truly giving consent, or can they even fully give consent? And that's where I don't think it's appropriate to film children having meltdowns, to post that ha ha ha, like to laugh about that online. I don't think it's appropriate. There are some people that the child is fully clothed, but they're doing something that suggests that's suggestive. And there's one particular account over on TikTok that got called out. I think she even got called out over here on YouTube as well. And that particular account, people were telling her there are pedophiles, like, watching your like, that are downloading videos of your daughter, and you have no clue what's happening with those videos later. Like, this, because you could tell if the child was just like playing with something, that video would have maybe 500 downloads, but if the child was doing something suggestive, that video would have like 100,000 downloads. And it was very specific to that type of content. And it's often the adult that's making the child do that type of content, which is icky to me. Like, especially because the child doesn't, like, the child is just being a kid. They don't understand, but the adult knows. And I think it's up to the adults to do and be better. I just that's how I feel. Um so Sherry has a book that's coming out in January, and she's the eldest daughter, and she has the shocking true story behind the viral eight passengers family vlog and the hidden harm she suffered at the hands of her mother, and how in the face of unimaginable pain she found freedom and healing. She's still pretty connected with her with, I think, spirituality, or I don't know if she still considers herself to be a Mormon. And so there might be some religious theme inside the book. I have no clue. So Shari Franke's childhood was a constant battle for survival. Her mother, Ruby Franke, enforced a severe moral code while maintaining a facade of a picture perfect family for their wildly popular YouTube channel, Eight Passengers. And that's where I think, because Ruby filmed herself doing things with the children that was mean and rude and vindictive, and, like, that's the stuff she filmed. Can y'all imagine the stuff that she didn't film? And that's where I think there was a whole other side to this that nobody saw. And, and that's why, so I don't put, like, when I see couples that look happy on Instagram or that look happy on YouTube, or couples that film together, you have no clue what that relationship is actually like. And that's why, so I mentioned on here before, my husband, he's an introvert. He has no interest in being on YouTube. I think I've told y'all, if he started his own channel, it would be about stocks and trading, and he probably wouldn't even have a camera. It would just be a screen share thing, and that would be it. And I don't force my family to do the thing that I enjoy because, like, they don't enjoy it, and that's fine. Um Commentary channels are different because I'm not building my brand based on my family, and family channels or couple channels, they are building a brand based on the couple, which that can cause problems. Um she documented the day-to-day life of raising 6 children for a staggering 2.5 million subscribers, but a darker truth lurked beneath the surface. Ruby's wholesome online persona masked a more tyrannical parenting style than anyone could have ever imagined. As the family's YouTube notoriety grew, so did Ruby's delusions of righteousness. Fueled by the sadistic influence of relationship coach Jody Hildebrandt, together they implanted an inhumane and merciless disciplinary regime. Ruby and Jody were arrested in Utah in 2023, and they ended up pleading guilty. And on the day her mother was arrested, Sherry shared a photo online that just said "finally," because I do believe Sherry had called CPS multiple times about her minor siblings, and Ruby knew how Jody had coached her on how to avoid the authorities. For the first time, Sherry will reveal the disturbing truth behind Eight Passengers and her family's devastating involvement with Jody Hildebrandt's cultish life program connections. No stone is left unturned as Sherry exposes the perils of influencer culture and shares for the first time her battle for truth and survival in the face of her mother's cruelty. And that just, I truly, truly wish her all the best on her journey to heal, because it just, I know it has to be hard. Um, Let me know if you all have questions. So it's in family court. I thought his next court date was in November, but I'm not sure. And witness, I agree. They definitely were not they weren't posting the worst of the worst. And I don't think it's appropriate to post those embarrassing things for kids and teens. And then, so with the Duggars, I wasn't even planning because Jill Duggar has, and I don't think it's just Jill. I think it was multiple Duggars have written books. I think, mm, which one's this one? Becoming Free. That was Ginger. Ginger did a book, Becoming Free, indeed. And in her book, because I think Jill and Ginger have talked about the fact that they really weren't paid for their time on the TLC show. That so TLC was giving the dad the money, thinking, "Oh yeah, he's gonna spread it out to the children." I don't know if there ever were any lawsuits with TLC and the like Duggar children, but I think the dad even signed contracts for them. That whole thing was also one huge mess. One huge mess. All right. So I want to get to the states that do have laws protecting child influencers. So this was an article I found. It's from September 27th, that California becomes one of the latest states to require parents to save earnings for child influencers. So right now, there's no requirement. So that's how, is it Jim Bob and I forget her name, but with the Duggar family, there was no requirement. But I think it labor, because that's that whole real TV. I would have thought they should have been paid something, or they might have written it off like, "You live here," or, "I gave you a wedding gift." I don't know how he managed that one. That's just weird. That was really weird. Um, California has joined two other states in putting into law financial protections for teens and children who are featured on social media. And they've specified, I think, a percentage of the content. So if a child just pops up every now and then, that's different than if it's a family channel, or if it's a child channel. If everything is about the child, then this law will apply. It mandates parents and guardians set aside in trust accounts a percentage of earnings earned by minors featured in monetized online content. A second piece of legislation was also signed into law, and it expands the Coogan Law, a long-time protection for child actors. So I'm gonna have to look that one up. Coogan. To include minors employed as content creators on platforms like YouTube. The law requires at least 15% of their earnings to be deposited in a trust for when they turn 18. I think it should be something that the parents don't have any access to. And so Demi Lovato started as a child actor and recently made her directorial debut, because there was a documentary on Hulu called Child Actor. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that. I haven't sat down and watched that one yet. In order to build a better future for the next generation of child stars, we need to put protections in place for minors working in the digital space, Lovato said. All right. So I'm gonna have to look up this Coogan law. All right. All right. And so Minnesota and Illinois are the other two states that have legislation in place. So a law in Illinois says that it went into effect on July 1st, mandates that children age 16 and under be compensated if within a 30-day period they are in at least 30% of a video or online content for which the adult parent or caregiver is being paid. So the child, because they're under the age of 18, they often can't be the one that's getting, like, normally the parent is the one that's getting paid. The person making the videos in which the child appears is responsible for setting aside gross earnings in a trust account for the child to receive at age 18. And then there's a Minnesota law that goes into effect next year that also requires minors be compensated for appearances in online content, under the age of 14 receive, whoa, Minnesota. Minnesota went far. Wait a minute. Kids under the age of 14 receive 100% of the proceeds. The law also requires that content be deleted when a request is made. Yes. Um, if the minor is 13 years or older, that they have a right, because there have been children that have went to their parents and said, "Yeah, I was okay with that video, you know, of whatever happening. I'm not okay with that video anymore. I'd like that to be taken down." And the parents say like, "No, like that's one of our best videos. This video is making us this much money a month." And it's like like if the child wants the video to be taken down, it should be taken down. Wow. The types of sharenting. So that's a whole new term. So instead of parenting, some people call it sharenting, and where they are sharing their children and lives on social media, and it's become a lucrative business. And I think people have to be careful. There was this travel vlogger that I followed, and she switched her content. She used to do a lot of family stuff. She used to feature her children a lot. Often you have to like prep the children, almost have scripts. So you have to be like, okay, I'm gonna ask you about Jamaica. Okay, that take wasn't good. We have to do another take. And they're pretty much being like coached and directed, but I think they should be protected. So how would that be enforced? So I don't know how Minnesota is going to do that, but if they didn't do it, it would be against the law. So then the child has some protection if at 18 or if at some point they sue their parents if their parents aren't going by this law. Yeah, John and Kate plus 8 was another one. I heard, the son that ended up in treatment and lives with his dad. I think he's going into the or he wasn't able to go into the military, I think, because of some of his past records or a past diagnosis. My heart truly breaks for those kiddos. In today's world, an influencer with more than 1 million followers may earn upwards of $20,000 for one sponsored post, while a person with under 1,000 followers on social media platform can earn as much as $4,000 for a sponsored post. Um, and if y'all ever see me do anything sponsored, I'm very picky with what I share and with what I do. And so I always test something out first. I got this eye mask recently, and it's supposed to help with sleep or something. And the person was like, "Hey, we'd like to send this to you, and maybe this can be a collaboration." And I was like, "I wanna try it first." And they're like, "Okay, we'll send it to you." I tried it. I was like, "I don't like it." I don't like, I don't like it. And so even though they would give me a referral link, I could make money by posting and sharing about it. I didn't like it, so I'm not gonna post it. I didn't like it. So I'm not gonna post it. But this isn't my full-time job. And but I do think people should be picky because it can hurt your brand if you just endorse everything. And I think there's a beauty influencer. I think her name is Michaela. I'm bad with names, but she's a beauty influencer, and people have like there are all types of YouTube videos and TikToks where people talk about, at one point she won't like a product, and then she'll get a brand deal with them, and then she'll promote the same product. Or she's promoting in the last 60 days, she's promoted, you know, 4 or 5 different face creams, or it might be more than that, but because she posts multiple times every day. But uh I think integrity is incredibly important because it's just that's where so I go on impact versus a particular number. So it's so sweet when people are like, "Oh, you should have more subs," or I don't know. Like I would rather have like the 29, 28, like a nice great community where it's safe and we can chat than have 1 million and it not be a safe community and it not be a place. Because some people get mad, and that's okay. Some people get mad about my pride flags, or they get mad if I say certain things that are important to me, and It is what it is. I tell people, like, it's not an airport. If I say or do something you don't like, you don't have to tell me. You can you can just move on. Somebody commented on my channel the other day, and I almost replied. I was so close. I have to make myself big for this one. Somebody had the nerve on my channel to put, "Why does this lady keep showing up on my feed?" And I wanted to reply to them like, "If you keep clicking on my content and commenting, the algorithm thinks you like me. If you don't like me, keep scrolling. Scroll fast. Like, don't turn off autoplay. Like, no." Why would so I hid a user from channel, and they might continue to yell into oblivion, but I'll never have to see another comment again on if they unless they switch accounts, which it is what it is. But um all right. I can't with some people. All right, let me make myself smaller. All right. Family vlog, social media. I wanted because I thought there were other states. I think we covered all of what the states have done. All right. So that's perfect. All right. I do have the full link to that video down below. And then let's see what Google AI says about the Coogan law. All right. And a lawyer can correct me in the chat if this is wrong, if Google AI is not right. But it's a set of regulations that protect the financial well being of child actors. Ah, so that's where that 15% comes from. So it requires that 15% of a child actor's earnings be set aside in a trust account known as a Coogan account. Nice. The legal guardian can monitor the account, but cannot withdraw funds. Yes, yes, yes. All right. And then there are issues about contracts, there are issues about work hours because sometimes some of these family channels, they will homeschool on purpose, but it's so that they can so that the child can do content for, 6, 8 hours a day and maybe only doing 2 hours of that. Um, people like, just hit the do not recommend this channel anymore. Like, why can't people do that? I don't know. I should create that as a sound. So I have a soundboard. I might have to cut that and put that as a sound that I'm bad with names. I forget names all the time. They're the 3 little dots, and you don't have to see my beautiful like, you don't have to see my face anymore. But, so I was so close. I was so close to commenting, and I was just like, "It is what it is." I agree. Family vlogging can be 24/7, and so if somebody is going to have like a parent that's going to vlog. So I know some therapists that do day in the life videos and they record their outfit of the day and their, commute to work. Not the whole thing, but they take little clips of things and they record little aspects of things. Okay. I also, so when I get together with a friend, I don't post that to social media unless the friend wants me to. So this past weekend, I want to say it was this past weekend, I met up with one of my good friends. We were friends on TikTok first, and then we met in real life. She's a social worker out in Chicago. What ended up happening was we're in a group chat, and she put in the group chat, "I'm in Washington, DC." And I was like, ma'am, I can be in DC in like an hour. And so we ended up meeting up for dinner. We did record, so we did 2 or 3 videos together, but we both create content, and the creating content part was all of maybe 5 minutes. So we were able to record like 3 videos in 5 minutes. She had in her mind what videos she wanted to do. She's much better at Instagram than I am. Some of y'all have followed me over on Instagram. So, like, Instagram used to be where my TikToks would go to see what would happen over there, and I don't even do TikTok that much anymore. So I am, yeah, so I'm probably because I know Natalie is in Maryland, and so Like, I don't mind getting together with people, and, I'll go to a conference next year, and if people and I'll get consent. It's like, "Hey, are you okay?" I'm like, and you can tell me no. "Are you okay with me recording a quick video?" 'Cause, the video I recorded of me and my friend from Chicago meeting each other, because I was recording it like this for us to, like, hug, but, like, or maybe it was, I don't know, I was recording it wrong, because however I was recording it, when we went to hug, you didn't see us hug. Like, the screen just goes black, or you just hear us hug. It's like, it is, but I'm not gonna do it again just so we can get, or have somebody else hold the phone to record. Like, that's just too much work. Like, no, I'm just not, I'm not gonna do that. I First of all, we are at the restaurant. I wanna eat. That's what I wanna go do. I wanna go and eat. Forget, like, so I don't do the perfect videos and all of that. I'm not gonna do it. Like, that's just too much work, and to me, it can sometimes hurt a friendship. So, I let a friend know, because we recorded ourselves meeting for the first time, and she looked at it and she was like, let's do it again." And I was like, "No." Like, you no, I'm not, no. I'm 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 not that kinda no. Like, I am not. Like, I like having a channel. I like social media, but I am not about to be some influencer that gets the perfect shot. Like, I'm not. My shot's not gonna be perfect. My intro isn't even gonna be perfect. Like, so to me, like, that's what makes it real. Like, I don't wanna be, like, the perfect, got it all together YouTuber. Like, that's because then people are looking at it and they're like, I could never do that." So what happened was, I saw what Emily D. Baker was doing. I saw what Natalie Lawyer Chick was doing. I saw what all these other people were doing, and I was like, I think I can do that from a psychological perspective. Like, that sounds like fun." And they're not perfect. They might say something wrong accidentally, and they're just like, "Whoops, I said it wrong. Thanks in the chat for correcting me," and we move on. It is what it is. And so, that's why I do more live videos than recorded videos, because when I record a video, that's more time. Because if I record it, I'm gonna put it in editor, I'm gonna cut out all of my ums, and I'm gonna fix it, I'm gonna make it better, but it's gonna take, like, an hour or 2 to do it, and that's just I'm just gonna go live, and it is what it is. Can you explain how Frankie is processing her arrests to cause her to adapt a mute reaction? What do you who has the mute reaction? So I don't know. Can you clarify what you mean by that? Can you clarify what you mean? Ah. Yes, and so, and there might be people that are doing something similar. So I've seen some people knit or crochet while they talk about their topic of interest or something, and I think stuff like that is cool. Oh, but that's probably smart. So, we should all so Ruby got caught. Remember, if you get arrested, lawyer. That's what So, she did the appropriate thing of lawyer, because everything you say and do will gladly be used against you. Go on ahead and lie if you want. They're they're gonna play it back. Go on ahead and self snitch. Self snitch if you want with no deal in place. So if don't do crimes, don't do crimes. And if you're in a difficult situation, lawyer. So let me explain why a lot of people don't like to hear themselves back. So, the way that our ears work, when I talk, I hear like, I'm actually getting feedback to hear, but I hear myself from inside of my head. if that makes sense, because that's the way. I'm not an ear doctor, okay? So this is my understanding of why we sound different. But when I hear it back, I'm hearing it from, like, a different perspective. Like, so everybody sounds different. Most people don't like themselves, like, they don't like hearing themselves back. The thing you can do is kinda desensitize yourself to it eventually. So I don't like to leave voicemails because I don't like the idea of somebody having my voice recorded, which is super weird because I'm like I have over 700 videos, y'all. vidIQ sent me a notice. I think it was vidIQ or one of them. Somebody sent me a notice of like, you did your 700th upload. What in the world? Some of those are shorts, but still. Um so that's why a lot of people don't like the way they sound. And so just get used to it. Um some of the people whose voices you love, they might not love their voice, or it might be hard for them to watch themselves back. A lot of actors don't like to watch themselves because they critique it, or it can be they can get in their head about it. I do watch my videos back. I normally watch myself back on 1.5 speed because that's just how my brain works. But yeah, that's a whole thing. Um I don't know that Ruby's transformation has been all that she said it's been. I think Ruby was trying to get Kevin back, uh, when Ruby was at her sentencing. So Ruby pled guilty. She cut a deal with the prosecution, and Jody also got a deal. I don't know that she's as changed as she says. But that'll be up to the probation board to monitor, to see, to make sure. I do believe that, her children will be protected. Um, the idea of her parenting scares me, or being involved with children scares me. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Carissa. Thank you, thank you. Um, I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Whoa. I was a mental health social worker for 33 years, lost career when a dentist. Oh no. Oh wow. Elizabeth, I hope you continue to recovery, or you hope you I hope you continue to recover. Why do you say you don't think Ruby is transformed as she seems? So Ruby was in court. So I think Ruby can be a good actor. I don't know. So Jody didn't even try to show any contrition or remorse or anything like that. Ruby tried, and I think she was trying to say that she's seen all that she's done, and she sees how she's hurt everyone. I don't know. It's just my own personal feeling. I've never met with her. I don't know what work she's done. I hope she's receiving therapy. I hope she's doing all of those things, but mm, I have questions. You're new here. Welcome, welcome. Yeah. Susan, I hope so too. Yeah, okay, good. So you think Ruby is a good actor. Yeah. And I think she plays up that pretty privilege. I think she definitely plays it up. And I I hope that the board takes a look at her writing, and is she actually working on herself? Is she diving into what she did? Is she accepting responsibility for the tremendous harm she caused her children? She pretty much told her youngest two that they were the devil, that the devil was working in them, and the spiritual harm, and the physical harm, the neglect, all of that, it's bad. And she was in jail for a while, but I don't know that you have the type of transfer. I don't know that you have that type of transformation. So I didn't realize how dark she was on her own without Jody. Once I saw her journal entries, her her journal entries trouble me. And I think even before she met Jody, I think she already had some problematic beliefs. And I think that's why she was the type of person that Jody could get to go that far because she already was kind of sadistic. Like I think she already had some pre-existing sadism and stuff. Like, it was problematic, and so that's where, because I think Kevin wanted to believe that Jody that it's all Jody, that she was under Jody's spell and it's all Jody. I didn't those journals were bad, and I think she felt obligated to have children. Uh, she seemed kinder to the older ones. She seemed to resent the youngest ones, because how upset she got over her. I wanna say her child was, like, 5 years old and forgot her lunch at home and wanted to show her a lesson by not letting her have lunch the next day, and it's like, first of all, wait a minute. Me as a parent, my 5-year-old isn't responsible for whether or not he has lunch or not. And so my child's 7, and I'm the one responsible for making sure that he has everything he needs. I do ask him to remind me one day. Oh my gosh, it was just last week or the week before. We were out the door walking to school, and I realized I didn't have my child's lunchbox. Or I didn't have his book bag, like, he didn't have anything, and I was like, "Hey, buddy, I need to go back." So, as a parent, I put that on me, I don't put that on a child, and if my child is 15, and if he has ADHD, and if he struggles with remembering things, we might write lunchbox on the back door, like, lunchbox question mark, because I'm a grown person, and I still forget. So that's where sometimes I think we treat children like they're not people. Like everybody forgets. Right? That's normal. Like that's not abnormal to forget sometimes. Um I have to remind my child to grab his jacket because when we're going to school, because it's a little chillier in Virginia, but you never know. So we have Virginia's weird. It'll be like 40 degrees in the morning and then like 80 degrees in in the afternoon. And so you have to dress for winter and summer at the same time. And it's a whole thing. I think it's so important to protect children, and I don't trust Jody's ability because the thing she was calling the devil and possession was just her child having an opinion. Like, it was just it was super sick. It was super, super sick. It was a problem. "Hey, Lisa." I feel like the middle kids who still lived with Ruby were indoctrinated. Yeah, and fought her control. I think that the youngest too. So it sounds like the youngest, really, really did. And Amanda, it's fine. And I think I can. We got it. Um, I got it, Amanda. All right. Go back? Oh, read the history. I'll have to do that another time to go back and take a look at that history. And so I don't know that she liked being a mom. Like, I think she liked making money off of her family. I don't think she liked actually being a mom. Like, she seemed to view the children as a burden. And, the whole children should be seen and not heard, like, there's a lot of, abuse that's done. And so, um mm. We talked about, spiritual harm in my coverage of this case, and if you haven't checked out my other coverage, I have a whole playlist going over Jody, Ruby, all of those things, and, Kevin's statement to the state. I had some thoughts about that too. That's just me. Um, alright. Let me know if you have any last questions, because 'cause Imma go feed my kiddo. He's having chicken nuggets and biscuits. Like, that's what he chose. Tomorrow will probably be mac and cheese. He does a vegetable pouch. That should count. And I leave Kevin up to the state. So Kevin probably had to do a parenting class. He probably has had to do some therapy. That'll be up to the state to decide. That'll be up to the state. Yeah, at least he's eating. Yep, my kid's very he has a beige. He's a my my doctor called him a vegetarian. So I just got him to eat chicken nuggets again this week. He had banned meat for like the last 2-3 weeks. And so like let's kind of like Chick-fil-A minis, but they'll be biscuits instead. And so that's what he's gonna have for dinner. Ooh, okay. So that one's super triggering. Um, are they done with that trial? Lisa, I have to is there a psychological question that you have? Because what's the psychological question that you would like for me to cover? And Amanda's, I saw somebody share this. It's like fruit. So blueberries can be sour, they can be sweet, they can be bitter, they can have all of these different things. And then crackers always taste the same. They absolutely always taste the same. Um, so Lisa, let me know what's the psychological thing because I talk about cases if there's something we can learn and grow from. On my last stream, I talked about because it came up, there was a former Marine that was charged. And so I talked about that at the end of my of this of the last stream where I talked about Lori Vallow Daybell. So yes, yes, yes. But yeah, so crackers are always the same, and so that's why yeah. So that's why those are safe foods, and, I'm pretty sure my kiddo's gonna be neurospicy. We haven't gotten the testing yet. Even as a psychologist, the person I found that I wanted to test him, the wait list was like a year, and so, it's a whole thing. And I know the other local psychologist, and so I wanna take take them to somebody that that doesn't know me and that I don't know. But yeah. Um, so, Lisa, you're shocked by the motive of the husband and the apathy of the men, and I thought he was pretending to be her, 'cause I thought he was pretending to be her, or did the men know? 'Cause I was protecting myself. I was under the impression that maybe the men didn't know, and that's why I want my child to understand consent T. That consent is, you don't give tea to a sleeping person. So if you haven't heard of consent tea, there is a YouTube video. Let me share. If you type in consent tea, it will come up. But that consent is as simple as tea. And they actually share this in the military. I have a cousin that is in the he's in the army, and I mentioned consent T to him, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we talk about that in the army." And so, yes, consent is respect, boundaries. It's not just about intimacy. It is about all that. And so, yes, so tea, like the drink, because you wouldn't if somebody's asleep, would you offer them tea? If they want tea today and they don't want tea tomorrow, would you still give them tea? No. And so it's a cute little video that you can use to talk with kids because you can relate it to hugs or affection. You can relate it to being able to say no, to respect your own boundaries and the boundaries of others. And so I like that. But, all right. I hope y'all have a good one. I will see y'all on Saturday unless there's a pop-up. There could be a pop-up on Thursday, we'll see, but if not, I will see y'all on Saturday. I hope y'all have a good one.